What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. There's always something exciting going on in professional wrestling, and as always, we've got you covered. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know, including Vince and Triple H clash on sending a message to the roster, WWE letting talent rest up, an ex-WWE superstar making his AEW debut soon, Backstage ratings are down, Ronda Rousey hints at a return, news on the Raw announce team shakeup, why Cody hired Taz, Drew McIntyre's praise for Brock Lesnar, the XFL has a different marijuana policy than the WWE, and Andrade breaks his silence on his wellness policy violation. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. But let's waste no further time and get straight into the first bit of news, as Vince and Triple H clash on sending a message to the roster. It's 2020 and Vince ain't playing around anymore. In fact, it is believed in. This is coming from Meltzmeister himself, that the quick eliminations in the Royal Rumble were there to send a message to the roster, specifically Matt Riddle, who apparently has a ton of backstage heat due to him calling out top main roster stars on social media. We're told that Riddle's Rumble performance was because he has a lot of heat right now with Vince McMahon, and this was to send a message. But whilst that was Vince's way of sending a message to talent, Triple H has a different approach, rewarding Riddle with a big win. Last night he and Pete Dunne battled the grizzled young veterans in the final of the Dusty Rhodes Classic and won. Triple H tweeted after the match, "Winning the Dusty Classic with the type of performance in the finals is what elevates careers. Congratulations to Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle." Well, that indicates a stark contrast between these two heads, as while Vince likes to bury his talent, Triple H wants to push them. We guess Triple H has a bit more insight on who could be a star, not letting backstage politics get in the way. Next up, WWE is letting talent rest up. WWE's yearly schedule is tough, as wrestlers are seen on the road for more than 300 days a year, and with no off-season, injuries can occur frequently in the ring, with wrestlers getting burnt out and not recovering fully before getting back into the ring. But in order to combat that, WWE has finally cut back on a number of dates for house shows, making the schedule a little lighter and giving superstars much needed rest. RingsideNews.co reports, in March, Raw wrestlers will work a maximum of 14 dates, and that same number applies for the SmackDown wrestlers. Again, WWE has combined Super Show schedule for some cities, so that means that most wrestlers, if not all, will be working less than 14 dates. A lighter schedule and being underutilized seems to be one of the main reasons why WWE talent wants to move on from WWE, moving over to promotions that have much lighter schedules. But perhaps this will persuade them not to. Next up, an ex-WWE superstar making his AEW debut soon. A former WWE Intercontinental Champion Luke Harper was granted his release last year, but thanks to the 90-day no-compete clause in his contract, he isn't able to wrestle anywhere until March 8th. There have been a number of rumors on where he'll go, with some even suggesting New Japan Pro Wrestling, but it seems that Harper is rumored to show up at the 18th March AEW Dynamite show in his hometown under the name Brody Lee. Now this would make sense, as it would guarantee a huge pop from the Rochester crowd. Where did you guys want Brody Lee to end up? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, WWE Backstage ratings are down again. It looks like even Roman Reigns and the New Day couldn't help boost the ratings for WWE Backstage. PW Insider's Mike Johnson was reporting the 28th January episode of WWE Backstage on FS1, featuring New Day and Roman Reigns as guests live from Miami, brought 97,000 overnight viewers, down from last week's 111,000. Backstage hasn't been able to generate any substantial ratings since it lost the lead-in from the Major League Baseball playoffs. Whether it's popular stars like Roman Reigns in the New Day or appearances by CM Punk, Backstage seems to be gradually losing its audience. Next up, did Ronda Rousey hint at a return? A former Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey recently spoke with Corey Graves on Graves' After the Bell podcast, putting over the women on the roster and discussing how she's obsessed with NXT. The baddest woman on the planet next discussed whom she'd like to fight should she return to the ring. Rhea's doing amazing. I would love to have a match with her someday. She matches up with everybody so differently, and there's so many things that she can really pull out of people that they can't do with anybody else. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if we ever get that opportunity. I'd love to get in the ring with her. She's fantastic. So what does NXT champion Rhea Ripley think about facing Charlotte or Ronda? Well, Ripley tweeted, Ripley vs Rousey and Ripley vs Flair. I'd be down. Rowdy Ronda vs Rhea Ripley isn't just a great alliteration, it's all but guaranteed to be a great match, as with the Queen vs Ripley. Whatever happens, we hope the match is one-on-one rather than a triple threat, as it would give Ripley a chance in the spotlight as opposed to having to share it. What's particularly interesting about these potential matchups is that the WWE is giving NXT's women's division a major boost with Flair and/or Rousey competing for the belt, making it just as, if not more prestigious than the Raw or SmackDown Women's Championship. Next up, some news on the Raw announce team shakeup. Raw's announce team is shaken up and it's now a three-man booth with Tom Phillips, Byron Saxton and Jerry the King Lawler calling the action. Wrestling's curmudgeon Dave Meltzer recently commented on the situation, saying the decision was made in the last week. From what I gather, since we heard the name a couple of days ago, Byron was always going to be the third guy. The decision had been made for Byron to be the third guy. Lawler, who was only supposed to be short-term, looks like he's there for a longer term. You may recall that Raw Executive Director Paul Heyman originally suggested bringing in Vic Joseph and Dio Maddin to Raw, but this team changed when Maddin decided to return to the ring. While Jerry was rumored to only be on Raw for a short time, that's changed and the King reportedly has the option to leave the announce booth should he get tired of calling the action. What do you guys think of this three-man team? Next up, why Cody hired Taz. It didn't take long for AEW to hire Taz after he guest commented on AEW Dark, with the former wrestler announcer wowing AEW Executive Vice President Cody Rhodes, and during an appearance on Busted Open Radio, Cody explained the reasons he wanted Taz for the upstart promotion.
He was somebody that, he was considering, I'm sure, returning perhaps to WWE, and he had tons of other opportunities that existed in front of him, and for him to step into this group of disruptors and be part of this. Wonderful. I love Taz being there, the Taz, the wrestler, the commentator, but I like him on a personal level. I feel like in business, one thing I've learned is I really like to surround myself with people I can trust and people I like, because one of the first things he did when he came in and did Dark, just as a guest, I had him reach out to a few different talents because he had feedback for them. On the indie scene, no one's giving anybody any feedback. It's like just a showcase. And it's not, I'm not knocking that, but there does come a point where this feedback, when you have these legends like Arn Anderson and DDP, and you want to use that feedback properly, what they've learned, they have actually drawn money and gotten over, sustained that. They felt these moments. So he texted some talents and he engaged in a few talents in a brief little mentoring element. And I thought, oh, I need that. He's really, really somebody who I think I'm going to lean into in the years to come for advice and for just, kind of an outlook on our program.
Next up, Drew McIntyre praises Brock Lesnar and discusses why Lesnar aggravates people. 2020 Royal Rumble winner Drew McIntyre recently appeared on the WWE show The Bump and had some fascinating comments about current WWE champion Brock Lesnar. There's nobody like him. This is one of those things that people get annoyed with him about, like, Brock's never here annoys me or whatever, and I have a different view and I say, Brock was offered his contract to do what he wants. He wasn't forced to sign it. He signed a contract and he's living up to his terms of the contract. McIntyre, of course, is the man who not only eliminated Lesnar from the Rumble after the Beast threw out 13 opponents, but is the man challenging Lesnar at WrestleMania 36 for Lesnar's title. The Scottish psychopath went on to say about Lesnar, I can't get annoyed about that. I understand why people get annoyed about it. The problem I have is he has our title and I've been on television, all the live events, and we need that title on there. Going into Mania, McIntyre has the chance to become the first challenger in some time who isn't lacking in size or power against Lesnar. The WWE could make this one engaging by having McIntyre keep up with Lesnar in the ring, rather than playing crash test dummy to him as Lesnar's opponents often do. Next up, Naomi getting lots of attention on Twitter. A clip of Naomi's return to the Royal Rumble has amassed an incredible 2 million views on Twitter, and lots of buzz from people who don't watch WWE. WWE.com's YouTube video of Naomi's return has reached 566,000 views as of this writing. Naomi's style and athleticism is something that sets her apart from other wrestlers in the WWE's women's division, and the WWE should consider adding her to SmackDown for a program against Bayley. The XFL has a different marijuana policy than the WWE. While we promised to keep any XFL coverage to the bare minimum, we had to report this on XFL's official marijuana policy. According to XFLnews.com, XFL Commissioner Oliver Luck appeared on the Yak with Barstool Big Cat on SiriusXM and confirmed that the XFL drug testing policy will be looking for performance-enhancing drugs, but not marijuana use. The use of marijuana is barred for players in the NFL during the season. As XFLnews.com's John Fuentes explained, many argue that NFL's drug testing policy restricting the use of marijuana, despite its health benefits and the fact that it isn't a PED, is ridiculous. The XFL seems to agree that they will not be penalizing players for using the substance during competition. Where this is interesting is that the WWE currently prohibits its superstars from using marijuana, with rumor having it that wrestlers who test positive for it won't face a wellness policy violation, but will be fined $2,500. Although the WWE and the XFL are supposedly two separate business entities with no ties to each other, it's puzzling why the XFL allows marijuana use while the WWE doesn't. But speaking of the wellness policy, Andrade finally breaks his silence. Current United States Champion Andrade is currently serving a 30-day wellness policy violation, and Andrade recently posted a message on Instagram, translated from Spanish. Never give up because things got tough. Remember where you come from and where you are going. Never quit because things got tough. Remember where you come from and where you're going. And despite his violation, Andrade got to keep his United States Championship, instead being ridden out via storyline injury on Raw at the hands of Humberto Carrillo. Paul Heyman is apparently big on putting Andrade over, and Vinnie Mac must agree, or it's likely he would have taken the belt off Andrade before he left. But there you have it guys, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.